Hello, my name is Femi Osunnuyi, and I want to share a few of the thoughts in my heart regarding what happened last night. Some have called it the Lekki massacre, but I want to tell you what it meant to me. Last night was my worst day in being a Nigerian. I don't say it's the worst day to be a Nigerian, but it was personally the worst day for me. In the last 20 years, when I've been here in this country, I've called Lekki home. I also happen to pastor a church in Lekki. That's why what happened here in Lekki absolutely broke my heart. I'm still trying to come to terms with it. And I'm sure many of us are still trying to come to terms with it, or the various atrocities that are going on in your part of the city of Lagos or in your part in the country of Nigeria. In trying to deal with it, there are at least 3 emotions that we are feeling at this time. We need to handle those emotions properly if we are going to honor the memory of those who have been at the forefront of this protest and the efforts they've put in within the last couple of weeks. And most importantly, those who lost their lives. Because ultimately the protesters were people of hope. Hope for what? They hoped for a better Nigeria. And so right now, if we are to honor that legacy, if we still want to see a better Nigeria, and I ultimately hope that is what you want to see, then we need to handle the emotions of grief, anger, and despair properly. How we handle those emotions, how we recover from those emotions will help us to see a better Nigeria, not just for us, but for our children. Because ultimately, when the dust settles, when the curfew ends, we still want to see a better Nigeria. Grief. If you are grieving at this moment, good, because that means that you are human. Grief is the way we express what should not be bottled up. It expresses deep anguish and deep pain. How can you not grieve with whatever happened yesterday? Even if you do not agree with the protesters, you see that Nigerians have lost their lives. So it's important that we grieve. It's important that we grieve well. But can I ask you this? When you grieve, don't grieve alone. The Bible, the book I believe with all my heart, says, mourn with those that mourn. In other words, the grieving process is not one to be done in isolation. Is one to be done with others. And at this moment, we will find others that want to grieve with us. If you're part of a church, look for people that you are close to. If you're not part of one, do you have work colleagues? Mourn with your family. But when you are mourning, please do not mourn alone. Express the pain and anguish that you feel with others that you love. Anger. The way we handle this is going to be really crucial. Because there is the temptation right now to not just curse, there's the temptation to also revenge, to see that they get double for what they have caused to us. But can I beg you not to go down that road? Because revenge only sows and grows bitterness in your heart. Revenge ultimately, and the thirst for revenge ultimately turns you into the monster that you are trying to fight against. And also, revenge wouldn't lead to the kind of Nigeria that we want and that you want for your children, the generation coming after you. The only thing that revenge leads to is mutually assured destruction. One person shows anger and also seeks to harm one person, and then they seek to also revenge. And so the cycle continues. But at the same time, speaking again as a Christian, the God I serve says, do not revenge, because vengeance belongs to me. I will repay. In other words, he is saying, there will come a time for accountability and reckoning of past wrongs. The arc of the moral universe, as Martin Luther King Jr. says, is long, but it always bends towards justice. In other words, justice will be served, either in this life or in the life to come. Therefore, for your sake, for the sake of your children, for the sake of our society, do not seek revenge. Can I beg any of those people that are outside right now that think looting and destroying is the best way to express our anger? Please think twice. Please go back. For those who are Christians, lament. Take your anger to God. He is big enough to handle it. Bring out the pain. Bring out the sorrow. Bring out the anger. There is a God that can handle it. Despair. Our inability and limitations at this point, our hopes that have just been dashed, they make us feel like there is nothing to live for again. For some of us, it even makes us feel guilty for living, while some other people have just died. And so then we ask ourselves, is it all worth it? Why am I living? Can I beg you to not despair? Can I beg you to not lose hope? Because what you are looking for is still possible. Right now though, what you need as you grieve and also as you express your anger through lament, you have to heal. You have to recover. Because without that, we would ultimately lose hope. And if we lose hope, we will lose purpose. But if we do not lose hope, what we can see or what we can have is time. Time to heal. And then time to enable us to reimagine how the things that we wanted could be achieved through other means. So right now, in trying to heal, can I ask, don't go on social media, don't feed on the news constantly and endlessly. Look there, take control of it, get what you need out of it. But there's no amount of news that you're going to get now that will tell you or convince you that what happened yesterday. It happened. You already know that. But consuming this is not good for your mental health. Consuming it inordinately eventually will drive you to despair and lack of hope. There are many of us that are leaders in one way or the other, in our families, in our communities. Right now, you need the strength that hope brings so that you can encourage others. So right now, I ask us, let's heal through the bonds of love. If you have children, hug them closely. If you have a spouse, look in their eyes and tell them you love them. If there's somebody that you haven't reached out to in a long time, please give them a call. Because when the dust settles, when the curfew ends, we still have to get on with the job of rebuilding this country. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. And I can say that confidently as a Christian because in one of the darkest moments in history, our Lord Jesus Christ was innocently executed on the cross. There was utter despair among his followers. And we thought, or they would have thought, there is no more hope for the world. But after 3 days, he rose again. He showed us in the time when he was in distress that he did not revenge so that we shouldn't. But he also showed us that he did not revenge because he ultimately had hope that he will rise up again. Can we have that hope so that when we grieve well? So that when we express our anger, it's not in revenge, but in lament. But that ultimately this won't lead to despair. I hope, I pray that we can recover, that you will recover from this. I know you can. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.